Good afternoon and welcome to the Happy Half Hour. I'm Leigh Kubin, Master Certified Life Coach and Mindset Coach.
I'm Sandra Priestley. I'm a business and branding coach. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Whew, we made
Wow.
it.
I barely made it. As I was telling you before this podcast, the last 5 days were the biggest shit show I think I have experienced all at once. Like, when I got up, the universe came and smacked me in the side of the face with another 2x4. Like, oh my gosh. Anyway, and I should be drinking something stronger, but I am only drinking black decaf coffee. It's like freezing cold here.
Oh,
Like, it's about 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Like,
okay.
what happened? It was so hot before, and now I'm cold. So I am drinking decaf coffee. What are you drinking?
I am drinking, I'm trying to pull okay, it's 80 degrees here.
Oh, well, double.
So it's not cold here. In fact, Lily and Easton are at the pool. Okay, so I got some Deep Eddy's peach vodka and
Oh,
some lemon water.
cool.
I thought it felt refreshing. And
Yeah.
when Paul gets home, it's date night.
Oh,
So,
how fun.
yes. So
Okay.
let's talk about the week.
So, you know how last week, I think on the podcast last week, you were talking about like how maybe it was after the podcast or before. I don't know. We have some good conversation, but how you were like both of your kids were going through some heavy stuff. And I talked about how, the way that I move through it as fast as possible is to feel the feelings and not allow myself to tell the stories. And so I was all sitting back, all cocky, like, like, oh, yes, I've got my shit together. Leigh's struggling, but like everything about it is perfect. And then it was not. Like everything went to shit. And we like got news. We got some bad news about extended family. Like so much happened, and so many big things happened for my kids. And what I realized was it is so much easier to sit in the feelings of your own stuff. Just feel the feelings when it affects us. Feel the feelings and stop telling the stories.
Yeah.
But when it was, so I'm a rock star at that. I mean, I can handle anything if it comes to me. Even like I started using that process when I found a lump in my breast. And I realized like it truly was like I was fearful and I was starting to tell the stories. And then I went, nope, not today. Nope, not going to tell those stories. And then all of a sudden it was just like, fuck, I'm so done with feeling like this now. I'm just kind of over it. Like, and I get up off the couch and I'm good to go. But wow, I underestimated how difficult that process is when it's with your kids, because you know what? My kids can make me nuts. And I feel like most moms.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I feel like most moms, like we can just go squirrely when it comes to our kids. And I realized that when I was worried for them, I didn't know how they felt. So I was feeling what I thought they felt, which I don't even have a clue if they felt what I thought.
Right.
And I then started to want to take the pain away. And I started thinking, okay, what do I need to do? How, like, and when you're in that doing energy, instead of like feeling and like stopping to tell the stories, when you're in that doing energy, it's the only thing that you've got is to tell the stories.
Yep.
What do I need to do next? How am I going to fix this? How are they feeling? And like the worry and everything just became a spiral. And so I had just obviously watched you go through this and given you this great advice. And I thought, get it together, Priestley. You can do this. And it was interesting because my desire to tell stories was on its A game.
Isn't it so interesting watching yourself get into that mode of
Yes.
making shit up?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah. And also of pulling stuff back. Like I just like vacillated between memory of the moment or memory of the past and worry for the future. Like there was no presence.
no.
Like
And that's not
Eckhart
where,
Tolle, I needed Eckhart Tolle's
yeah,
book. I needed to grab Power of Now and just try to be in the now, because in the now, right now, this second, there is no problems.
there's nothing. I mean, everything is perfect in this moment.
Perfect peace,
I am
Zen.
safe.
In this
I am,
second, I am safe.
yes. Hmm.
And yet, I was not spending a lot of time there
Hmm.
at all. It was all like reliving the past and like projecting into the future and this doing energy instead of like faith.
Yeah.
I was fear based for sure. And I believed it was like it was like a drug that I was addicted to feeling the bad stuff.
It was. It was a dopamine hit.
Yes,
Yeah. You
absolutely.
did that dopamine hit over and over and over again
Yeah,
this week. I did that last week.
right. I'm a I'm a slow learner. But yeah, it was, oh my gosh. It was a struggle.
But
I
looking back on it and looking at where your thoughts went and where you went,
mm,
that's where your power is, because then you can look and go, oh shit,
yeah.
what do I want? Do I
Well,
want
and
those stories I'm telling, or do I want this?
you know
Can't have
what's
both.
fascinating was I did that. Like once the panic was done,
Mm-hmm.
um, I could get myself back to center and then I quickly flipped out of it. And
Mm-hmm.
then I bring myself back to center and then I quickly flip out of it. It was
Yep.
consciously me going, nope, not today. Nope, not telling the story. Nope, not going to relive the past. I can't go back there. I'm not looking there. I'm only looking forward. And um I I would just get myself back to Zen and I'd flip out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting to see how much of a desire or an addiction I had.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like an addiction to the trauma, addiction to the drama, addiction to the fear, addiction to the like to the
Yep.
stories.
And the more you practice getting out of that
Mhm.
and into the good stuff, and then you get kicked out and then you get back, keep doing that, because you'll stay here longer than you'll stay
Absolutely.
here. And then it becomes a second nature.
Yeah.
Now, I'm
And that's
talking
even
about on this subject. There will be
right.
another subject that you will master, or you probably already are mastering.
Yeah.
But
Exactly what Eckhart Tolle says though too, right? Like he says, like you can't just go there and sit there, like read this book and then all of a sudden, poof, you're
it's
magical.
it
You're
is
gonna
a
stay there
practice.
forever and ever and ever. And so he just says, and like the goal is to be in the now as often as possible for as long as you can,
Mhm.
and then to get back as quickly as possible.
Yeah, because we're not going to be there all the time. We're going to be in the future or the
No.
past.
And
And
I would bet Eckhart Tolle isn't there all the time too.
I I would bet too,
I
listening to him, I think he lives there. But if I
know.
lived with him, I don't know. Not that I
I
want to
know.
live with Eckhart Tolle.
Does he have kids? I don't know.
Then he can
Maybe
write a
he
kid book.
doesn't. Maybe this is
But
just all theory and it goes flying out the window if you got kids.
but
No,
I want
I
you to
really believe.
look for a minute at you and at your life and at you at that age and look at, I mean, because I can look at my early 20s and girl, it was, I was just bouncing from mistake to not even mistakes. I think bad choices, just
Mhm.
doing stupid, irresponsible shit.
Mhm.
And looking back on it, it's like, oh dear God. But
Right.
my parents in the moment, what must they have been going through? And the fear and and so as a grown up of adult children, now
Yeah.
I can look back and go, oh, what did I put them through? Never thought about that before. But it's tough on us. But we came out okay. We had our challenges and we had our mess ups, mistakes, whatever,
Yeah.
but we learned from them.
Mhm.
And if it all happened for us, and if
Absolutely.
it's true for us, then it's true for them. And we just have to keep seeing that and feeling
Yeah.
that and knowing that because they feel our fear, they
Mhm.
feel our judgment, they
Absolutely.
feel everything that we feel about them. And
Very
when you have parents looking at you like you piece of shit or whatever,
Yeah.
you feel that. And then
Absolutely.
you think, well, that's all they think I am. So
Mhm.
that must be all I am.
Very true.
And
And I think too, um, you know, I was probably, because I'm a child of an alcoholic, did I screw up? Absolutely. But I feel as though I was more fearful than daring. I was more and I mean um angry with my dad for the drinking, for screwing up our lives in so many ways. And so I feel as though like I was always like too scared to make a mistake. I was sitting in
mhm,
perfect,
mhm,
right? In
mhm,
this desire for perfection. So then I just became paralyzed more
yeah,
so than going out and living my life and making tons and tons of mistakes. Have I made some? Yes. Have they been huge? Yes. Um, but I also can see how they changed the trajectory of my
mhm,
life
yeah,
for the better.
mhm,
And I think we have that option of succumbing to the issue, the situation that happened and
mhm,
just getting worse, or like taking the situation that's happened and building from it,
mhm,
learning from it, becoming something from it. I can definitely look back, like, and even, I was saying to Kim, like, there's a quote that I really like. And I can never remember. I think it's Lisa Nichols who said it.
okay, I love her.
I am pretty sure it's Lisa Nichols. And
Uh-huh,
she said, sometimes the greatest gifts are wrapped in sandpaper.
mhm,
And I think sometimes the greatest gifts are wrapped in sandpaper, and then sometimes we use it to rub our bare ass with. Like, you know what
correct,
I mean? Like,
correct.
it's
Do
not
we
just,
get the lesson and do we learn and grow? Do we let it elevate us
yeah,
or do we let it
yes,
define us?
absolutely.
Mhm,
Absolutely. And so, yeah, this has been an interesting 5 days or so. But also, I don't know. I've been sinking into this sentence that I always say, I can do hard things.
yeah,
Like I can do hard
yeah, yeah,
things.
yeah,
And all of us can. Like, and the more we face that stuff,
mhm,
the easier it is. I think, sometimes it's like, what's the worst case scenario? If we've already made it through the worst case scenario, fuck it, we're good. The next things that we do, we can thrive because we hold ourselves back sometimes because
yeah.
we're fearful
We don't
of
know
the
what we can do.
absolutely.
Mhm,
So it has been it has been an interesting few days. And I think about how grateful I am for all of the mindset work that I've done,
Mm-hmm.
for everything that I've learned, because I feel as though I would have been a mess
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
A mess, a complete mess. And now it's like, okay, what you got?
Mm-hmm.
Now, not that I didn't struggle, not that I wasn't, but I knew how to get myself out of telling the stories of gloom and
Yeah.
doom and despair.
Yeah.
It just wasn't as easy as it is when it's my gloom and doom and despair that I'm
Yeah.
dealing with. It was harder when it was my kids.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I've said this already, but it was much easier when they were two and we had much more control.
Oh, good Lord, yes.
But as adults,
Yeah.
this is their time to learn and
Mm-hmm.
to figure out who they are and who they are not and who they want to be.
Yeah.
And it is so much fun to watch them do it, but it is also so painful because you
Yeah.
want to guide and do these things. And you're like, they're grown ass people.
Yeah.
I didn't want someone molding me, telling me what to believe, and didn't want to be told what to do. But I'm independent that way. I want to figure it out. You don't
Mhm.
know everything. You might
Yeah.
know some things, but you don't know everything. And I did have to learn some things the hard way,
Mhm.
but I got to learn it. And I'm pretty happy with where I'm sitting,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, and it's interesting because when I was pregnant with my son, um, I was shopping one day with a friend and I saw this like piece of stone, like almost like a coaster, but it sits up. And engraved in this stone, it said, "Prepare the child for the path, not the path for the child."
Mhm. I love
And I walked away from it and then thought, no, Sandra, you need that. Because I knew that even though I was just pregnant, I I knew, and I'd never had, this was my first, I knew that I needed that sign. I knew
Mhm.
that I needed it because I knew that I would be the one that would be like wanting to prepare the path.
Yeah.
I am that girl in recovery, you know? And so I had this, and often when we moved, I don't know what happened to it, if it broke or if I got rid of it. I don't remember, but often I still feel like I need that sign because even though my kids are adults,
Yeah.
man, it's hard to always keep that in the forefront of your mind, right? When
Mhm.
I don't
You
know,
have
I am in
prepared
recovery.
them. You have prepared them. And you have to take that
Yeah.
and accept that and be excited about that.
Oh man, I tell you.
They
What did
know what
they
they
say?
know what's up.
What did they say? Like that the frontal
The
cortex of the
frontal lobe
brain.
is not fully developed until they're 26 years old.
Lord.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Paul didn't straighten his ass out until he was 30.
Oh.
And that in part was because of me and Logan.
Hmm.
So, I mean, his frontal lobe was developed, but it was developed 4 years before. Maybe he was a late bloomer. I don't know. But he's good. I mean, he still acts 13 sometimes, but for the
Yeah.
most part, he's a solid 40.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's ah. I do think though that some of these, like I can absolutely look back on anything, any like big thing that happened, anything that I still go back to. I absolutely can see the gift
Yeah.
eventually. Like, no matter
Not
how
at the
big it
beginning.
was, not in the beginning. No, in the beginning, it's like, wow, I'm a victim here.
So,
This
oh,
doesn't
just
feel good.
happened.
Or
Mhm.
what did I do? Or why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
And yeah, wow.
But isn't it interesting looking back
Oh yeah.
and going, wow, if I hadn't done this,
hmm Where
that
would we be?
that was so detrimental. I hadn't done this that was so detrimental. I wouldn't have ended up here. Like
Mhm.
all of these things that have happened would not have happened. And I think, where would I be?
Yeah.
And I imagine that life, and it's not like this life.
And I think we, oh, for sure. And I think we get to choose to, like, well, my son is a football player, and so I am often, it just seems like it's the algorithm. I get football stuff.
Mhm.
And so I started listening to this motivational speaker. His name is Trent Shelton. I don't know if
Okay.
you've heard of him.
I haven't.
So he has a podcast, and it's called Rehab. Rehab. Oh, I can't even remember now, actually.
Okay.
Anyway, Trent
But
Shelton.
rehab is in the title.
Yeah, he says, "Let's go, it's rehab time," something like that, like at the bottom, at the end. And so his story was, he was playing university football, and he went undrafted to the NFL. He started playing, and he went and played for a number of teams. But he wasn't really the superstar that they thought that he was going to be.
Hmm.
And he ended up getting injured, and he was released. And he said he spent time doing things he should not be doing, and a lot of detrimental things.
Sure.
Um, and so all of a sudden he got his shit together one day, and it's like, okay, let's go. It's rehab time.
Hmm.
It's rehab time. And he started to rehab himself physically, spiritually, mentally,
Hmm.
psychologically. And
Yeah.
he started doing these 2-minute videos just on, I think, like Instagram or stories or something, just 2-minute little inspirational videos. And he ended up, now he's considered one of the most motivational and inspirational speakers.
Wow.
And he says, like, where would I be if I just finished out my NFL career? Did it suck for him to be released because of an injury, but also to not be the showstopper that he was expected to be? Of course. But he said if he had kept with on his NFL path, he wouldn't be nearly the success that he is now. But there was a moment where he could have said, life is too hard.
Yeah.
This is too hard.
Too
I'm
much.
injured.
Hmm.
I am out of the NFL. I've got nothing left. All I wanted to do was be an NFL player. Now I can't do this. Now what am I going to? And he could have chosen a totally different detrimental path,
Yep.
but he didn't. And
Hmm.
I love that opportunity, because I feel like when the chips were down for me,
Hmm.
I always rose in the best way possible,
Yes.
because I took the lesson, I learned from it, and I vowed that I would never not.
Hmm. What if
Like,
everyone knew they had a choice?
mhm,
Can you imagine if everyone had that knowledge?
yeah.
Because we all have a choice
In every moment of
in every
every day,
moment. Yep.
we have
Hmm.
choice.
What are we going to choose?
Yeah. So powerful.
Hmm. Yes, it is. Good. Well, with
Yeah.
that, I think we should just end it. We are almost out of time. Thank you, Sandra. And this
Yeah.
was really, really good. And thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next Thursday on the Happy Half Hour. Bye.
Bye.